Do you remember the last summer of our childhood? No, not the one where we went to the beach with our parents, or the one where we had an amazing water gun fight with all the neighborhood kids. I'm talking about the one right before we grew up. This story is going to take you back to the time when everything seemed eternal, and we didn't know that the moment we stepped into adulthood, everything would change. We were lucky enough to experience what most people only dream about, a real friendship. We could do anything together. Even if we got caught doing something wrong, we knew we could rely on each other. As long as we stuck together, we were invincible. There was no such thing as us getting separated. We were going to spend the rest of our lives together. At least that's what we thought. It was the kind of summer where every day felt like it would never end. We spent hours on the streets playing games, riding our bikes around the entire city, exploring abandoned buildings, hiding from the cops after stealing beer from the supermarket, and so much more. But it wasn't just about the things we did. It was about the feeling of knowing that these moments will last forever. In the blink of an eye, it all changed. The days got shorter, the weather got colder, and before we knew it, our summer was almost over. That's when we decided we needed to do something crazy, something that would remind us of this summer forever. But what could we do? We couldn't just sit around and think about it. We had to experience something unforgettable, something that would make us feel alive. So we did what any group of friends would do. We jumped on our bikes and headed out into the unknown. We didn't know where we were going, but we didn't care. The wind in our hair, the sun on our skin, the feeling of freedom was all that mattered. Hours passed and the sun began its descent towards the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. We still hadn't found what we were looking for, but we weren't disappointed. The journey itself had become the adventure. Suddenly, Lucas, the smallest yet bravest of our group, spoke up. "I want to go down that hill." He pointed his finger towards a dirt road that snaked its way down a hill, disappearing from view. We all looked at each other. We knew what he was suggesting, and we couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement mixed with fear. We were about to do something we'd never done before. There was no turning back. "Let's do it," said Marco, always up for a challenge. And with that, we started our descent. The dirt road was bumpy and uneven, but we didn't care. We were too busy enjoying the adrenaline rush that coursed through our bodies. The wind screamed past us as we picked up speed, our bikes bouncing and swaying, keeping us on the edge of our seats. And then it happened. The moment we'd been waiting for, dreading, anticipating. We reached the bottom of the hill. We'd made it. A huge abandoned house stood before us, its windows like vacant eyes staring into our souls. The sight was both fascinating and eerie. It looked like something straight out of a horror movie. Despite our pounding hearts and shaky hands, we couldn't help but feel a sense of triumph. We had conquered the hill, and now this house, this silent sentinel of the past, beckoned us to explore its secrets. Curiosity got the better of us, and one by one, we started to dismount our bikes. As we approached the house, the silence was deafening. It was the kind of silence that seemed to swallow all sound, leaving us in a bubble of hushed anticipation. The overgrown weeds and the house's dilapidated state made it clear that no one had lived here for a very long time. Suddenly, a loud creak echoed through the air, breaking the silence. We all jumped, startled by the unexpected noise. The sound seemed to come from within the house, and it sent shivers down our spines. Was it the wind playing tricks on us, or was there someone else here? Determined to uncover the source of the noise, We cautiously pushed open the creaky door and stepped inside. The interior of the house was dark and dusty, with cobwebs hanging from the ceiling like macabre decorations. As our eyes adjusted to the dim light filtering through the grimy windows, we began to make out the shape of a rocking chair in the corner. It was gently swaying back and forth, as if someone had just gotten up from it. A chill ran down my spine. Had we really just seen that? We exchanged nervous glances, our hearts pounding in our chests. The rational part of our minds told us that it was probably just the wind, but our imaginations, fueled by the eerie setting, painted a different picture. Before any of us could suggest running away, we heard footsteps. Heavy footsteps coming closer. Panic surged through me. What if it was a ghost? What if this house was haunted? My mind raced, conjuring up images of spectral apparitions and ghostly moans. Then we saw him. An old man emerged from the shadows, his face lined and weathered like the wood paneling on the walls. His eyes, however, were sharp and clear, holding a lifetime of stories. He stared at us, his expression unreadable. For a moment, the only sound was the old man's heavy breathing. Then he spoke, his voice raspy as if unused for years. "What are you doing here?" he asked suspiciously. I stammered, trying to find the right words. We just saw the rocking chair moving and The old man cut me off with a wave of his hand. "That's just the wind," he said dismissively. "And this house has been empty for years." Confused, we looked at each other. If the house was empty, then why did we see a rocking chair moving on its own? Why did we hear footsteps? And where did the old man come from? The old man seemed to read our thoughts. "There are things you don't understand," he said cryptically. "Some things are best left undisturbed." His words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. We didn't know what he was talking about, but we sensed that there was more to this house, more to the old man and his cryptic warnings than met the eye. We thanked him for his help and started to walk away. But as I turned to leave, I couldn't resist the urge to ask one more question. "But what about the rocking chair? Did you?" The old man stopped rocking and turned to look at me. His eyes, which had seemed so sharp and clear a moment ago, were now cloudy with age and obscured by cataracts. "You didn't see anything," he said quietly. "Just forget you ever came here." And with that, he turned back to his rocking chair and resumed his slow, steady rocking motion. As we walked away from the house, the question swirled in my mind. What had we really experienced? Was it a ghost? A hallucination? Or was there something else, something beyond our understanding? As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the overgrown lawn, we left the house and its secrets behind. The heavy wooden door creaked shut with a finality that sent shivers down my spine. We never went back to that house, not because we were scared, but because something kept us away, a feeling that we couldn't quite put our finger on. It was as if the house itself was sending us a message we were wise enough to understand. Some things are better left unexplored, some mysteries are best left unsolved. Looking back, I'm glad we had that experience. It taught us that life is full of surprises, and that sometimes the scariest things are the ones we imagine in our heads. It also taught us the importance of listening to the wisdom of the elderly, for they carry with them stories and experiences that can guide us through the labyrinth of life. And though we may never fully understand what we saw in that old house, it remains a reminder that there are some things in this world that are simply beyond our understanding. That's okay. The real mystery, though, is how these experiences shape us, how they carve pieces of themselves onto our souls and how they stay with us long after the dust has settled. It is a reminder that life is full of mysteries and that sometimes the greatest adventures are the ones that lead us to the unknown.